welcome back to Thugging It Out. Thugging It Out is a platform where we create a safe space to acknowledge, experience, and overcome real life issues in a positive and healthy way. First things first, wherever you might be listening to this podcast on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc., make sure you like and follow so you can get notifications when a new episode drops, as well as make sure you're following us on YouTube at Thugging It Out Podcast and subscribe to it so you can get updated on each and every Saturday when we go live so that you can be interactive in a chat. And while we edit, I'm going to just say it. Might as well follow me on Instagram too at _ thugging it out _ That way you can get the morning motivational videos. You could get updated on new episodes, new topics, just new information so you can stay updated. And yes, that's all the housekeeping. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are staying warm because it seemed like everywhere in the United States this past week is freezing. Here in Memphis, the high today is 30, but for the past few days, it has been over like 10 degrees. The kids been out of school. I've been working at home, and it's been a lot of chaos, just like I'm sure everybody else's house is because everyone is at home. And it's, no reason to be outside and out and about. So I hope everyone is staying warm and staying sane in the house with these kids for this long. It seemed like they just went back to school and now they're on another break, because I'm certain that my kids probably won't be back in school until next week, which is bittersweet because one, I don't feel like going outside in that mess, but at the same time, I could definitely use some alone time. But we're not going to complain about it. We're just going to accept things for what they are and just continuously thug it out because that's what we do. As you guys might already figured out, January for Thugging It Out will be a month of mindfulness. I really want the podcast focus to kind of align with my personal focuses, and that's just more so mindfulness, to understand where we're at, to be clear on areas of growth, as well as be sure where we're trying to go. And that leads me into this episode, which is simply to be aware is to be alive. And I know when you hear that, it can trigger a lot of different things, but I wanted to hit a space where you're recognizing that you need to wake up. Wake up, people, because to be aware is to be alive. And I'm not necessarily sure if you guys are seeing it, but I'm seeing a lot of people that are just going through life pointless, like aimlessly. They have no clear goals. They're constantly going in circles, and it's almost as if they're in a trance. And in this trance, nothing's good going to come out of it. It's a place where the only thing that they're receiving is chaos, bad fortune, like sprouts of happiness, which is only because certain things might happen, but it goes right back to a chaotic world where depression is stirring, anger is stirring, confusion, disappointment, sadness. It's just a low level where I'm recognizing more and more it seems like the norm. It's like where toxicity almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Where toxicity does its big one, where it's at an all-time high. And the first thing that I'm just confused over is I don't understand how people are not recognizing the importance of time. Because time is showing us time and time again how it's not waiting for no one. And we already noticed that we are all on borrowed time. And I know I grew up my coming of age was in the YOLO era. And if we are in the same age group, the YOLO thing was on and popping around my first year of college. And it was a time. A time was had. College, the first year of college was fun. It was definitely, it gave what it's supposed to give at that moment. And for the people that don't understand what YOLO is you only live once. And in one of my favorite gospel songs, it said he referenced YOLO, but he also said you only die once too. So I'm recognizing time and time again that some of us, we get so carried away in our youth that we don't really recognize that today we will never have again, and that tomorrow is a brand new day, and once that's gone, we will never have it again. And it's always something new, God willing. So I'm just gonna be a little frank with you guys. Some of us might live to 100. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that's you. Others might live to 80, 60, 50. But some of us might not make it until 20. So I'm a firm believer that every day above ground is a blessing. Your girl's going to be 30 years old, and that is a milestone, and that is a blessing. Because I know many people that has not made it to even 29, where I'm at right now. And I'm saying this to say, not to scare you guys, because honestly, I'm a person that believes that death should not be scary. That's something that I'm not scared of. And I know I might sound crazy to some, but dying and like all the leave the world behind movies or the apocalypse movies, they don't scare me, because I know that God got me, and I know where my soul is going. So when we see these different things and we see all the chaos and we see everything that's going on, I'm not the one that's like, oh my God, I gotta prep, I gotta do this, we gotta get a bunker. No, I'm not that person. I am the type of person where I'm just gonna continuously pray. I'm gonna continuously put my ear to the Spirit and wait for directions for me to go which way I want to go. So I'm not saying that, some of us might not live or get to a certain age to scare you, because I don't operate like that. I'm just saying it because it's a fact, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of us don't necessarily look at it like that. And I just want to reiterate that we do not know our end. And that's why we need to be aware of how we are using our time. Because once again, time is important. I know a lot of us want to act like time is not real, or that age is just a lifestyle or a way of thinking. But one thing I'm for certain is that the clock never stops. And regardless of how we might think or how we might want to put it in our favor, time ain't waiting on nobody. Which means that time is valuable, because just as it comes now, it can leave in the same thing. So time is truly an asset. And just like we watch our coins and we budget our money and we making sure that we can get more money, we really need to take that focus and energy on our time. Because unlike money, we can't create more time. We only got the time we give it. It's almost like a hourglass that once we all got our own hourglass. Some of them will run out faster than the other, and some might just keep going and going and going. We don't know. But that's why I really think it's important that we really start monitoring our time. Because have y'all not noticed that your phones keep up with time, and it shows you where you might spend your time. I know if you have an iPhone, you get a notification every Sunday. Let's say last week your usage was up. You were this amount on social media, this amount on productivity. It tells you. And I'm just going to say this, how your children turn out shows how much time and energy you spent there. Your body shows how much time and energy you put in that, relationships, your career, your business, yourself. Almost everything in your life will show you how much time and energy you put in it. And let's get real here. Your body might not be the body you want based off of you not putting the energy and spending the time with creating it the way you want. Your relationship might not be where it's at because you're not spending time and putting energy in it. Your career, your business, it might not be flourishing based off the time and energy you put in there. And that's why I really think we need to take a double look at time, because it's not just something that's not important. It's really one of the most important things that we have. And that is something as a parent that I'm constantly telling my kids. I'm telling my children. I tell my son that, well, not my toddler and infant because they don't know any better, but with my preteen, I'm constantly preaching him the importance of time, and that the more that you slack off, the more that you put things off, the longer it would take you to get certain results. And I know we live in an age where everybody wants to live on their own journey and do things on their own accord, which I 100% agree with. But I do think certain things are non-negotiable, and if it's an opportunity that needs you to do it now, you need to do it now. And a lot of us think that we just are superheroes and that we could just continuously put things off and wait until things are a certain way when we're only hurting ourselves. We're only prolonging our own frustrations, our own troubles. Like, procrastination is a work of the devil. As I'm reading more and more and more in the Bible, as I'm getting more in tune with the Spirit, I'm recognizing more and more that the Spirit, the notion, I hope y'all don't hear my baby in there yelling, but if you do, that's Ryan. He says hello. But the spirit of putting things off, of waiting, of having this I'll do it later mentality, that's nothing but the devil's work. Because some things get put on our spirit, and here I go preaching, but I mean, y'all gotta hear this. Some things that God might put on our spirit, He wants us to do it now. And sometimes when you get an idea in your head, it's not one of them things that it's like, okay, I'll do it later. That thought, that process, that feeling that you get, that's something you need to handle now. And that's something that I'm learning, because your girl's from experience. This is how I know that it's real. Lately, I've been getting these like urges. I don't want to say urges, or like these voices or these thoughts in my head. And they be like very good ideas. They be very good things. And it might be when I'm in the most comfortable state, like when I'm half asleep, the baby really in his sleep, and I know if I get up, he might wake up. Or I might be in a space where I'm just so comfortable, I don't feel like going to get the laptop. I don't feel like going to get my notepad. But when every time I say, okay, I'm going to remember that, I never remember it. And it happened more than once. So I'm knowing that is God telling me, get on your Zoom. Get the idea together. Start putting in the work. Start working towards that. Go in this direction. You did enough here. Now go to the next one. But I be so in my comfort zone, don't want to say no to myself, that I ended up tricking my own self, because every time I never remember it. And I'm trying to tell you, it was one time I had this crazy dope idea. and it's coming back to me in pieces, but it's not the same. And every time I'm like, really beat myself up about it. I'm like, what is that? I know it was in my head, I know it was in my brain, but I just can't seem to get that feeling that I had when I was in that mode. So I'm telling you, stop procrastinating. Get up and just do it. Wake up. Tighten up. And I'm going to say that again. Tighten up. A lot of y'all out here loosey-goosey, just going every which way, and y'all need to tighten up. Be mindful of the company you keep. Be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Be mindful about what is coming out of your cup. Be mindful of what your needs are, what your wants are. Get to the space where you are in tune with yourself, your higher self, the higher power, God, whatever. Get in alignment. Tighten up. Because I'm telling you, God is just waiting on you to just do it. He's waiting on you to do what he's been telling you to do. And I know sometimes being in that comfortable place and just being in a place of peace and serenity of doing nothing, that feels comfortable. But sometimes God makes you uncomfortable to get you in the best case scenario. So get out of the twilight zone and open your eyes to see everything for what it is. Because a lot of us, we might see shit. We might be living through shit. We might be feeling like shit. But we acting like it's all good and gravy when it ain't. A lot of y'all are in what they call it. A lot of y'all are delulu. And that's what I've been seeing. You know, I'm kind of out of the loop. I'm a little older. I don't keep up with the new slang. But a lot of y'all are delusional. Y'all know that y'all unhappy. You know, you're overweight. You know that you're not feeling how you want to feel. You're not where you want to be. But you constantly want to trick yourself and say, I'm okay. It's all good. It's all good. When you know it ain't. And the only thing that's preventing you from making it good is you getting up off your ass and waking the hell up and doing what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to be the friend. I'm going to be the person that tell you to get the hell up and do what you're supposed to do. Stop waiting. And when I'm telling you to stand on your business and to get out of la la land, I am also telling you to enjoy every second of this life. Because like I said earlier, each minute you won't have again. So enjoy it. And you can enjoy stuff while still getting shit done and still working and doing what you're supposed to do. Enjoyment does not only come from toxicity. Enjoyment can come from discipline. Enjoyment can come out of structure. Learn how to do both. And learn how to accept all things and change things according to your own needs. Accept everything because it is what it is. And it ain't what it ain't. But for the things that are what they are, you must accept them. And learn how to pivot. I said that with Perfecting Your Process series. Learn how to just move on, to transition, to adapt. We need to start being a people where we learn how to just adapt in certain things. We really are people that get stuck sometimes. We get stuck in the words. We get stuck in the delivery. We get stuck in the small things. And we're sometimes incapable of looking at the bigger picture. It could be a ginormous sky. I'm going to use that example. I was going to say a painting, but you have a big, huge sky. And it could be one tiny cloud that just messes up the perfect day. But instead of looking at the entire sky and looking how beautiful it is, we will just pick at that one little cloud and say how it's messing everything up, instead of shifting our perspective and looking at the bigger picture and saying, it's still a beautiful day. It's still a beautiful sky. Look at the sun. Look at the other clouds. Learn how to do that. And take a minute to smell the roses. Feel the cold, icy air. It's cold as shit outside. And I'm not going to tell anybody to go outside because I feel like you might have sudden death. But feel it. Learn how to feel things. Watch the birds. Feel love. Just learn how to life. Not life in a way, I know we always say life be lifing in a negative aspect, but we really need to learn how to embrace life for what it is, because like I said earlier, every day above ground is a blessing. The air you're breathing, a blessing. The house you're in, a blessing. The car you might drive, a blessing. The food you're eating, a blessing. The job you have, a blessing. The kids you have are a blessing. You're surrounded by blessings. And yes, everything is imperfect. Yes, I wish my kids had school this week, and I wish this cold air and snow would go about its business. But we're going to embrace the goodness about it. Okay? Stop sweating the small stuff. Because I know in the scripture I was reading last week, it kept saying that you gotta have, God has to put you through certain situations because it teaches you how to appreciate the good as well as deal with the bad. And it helps you get through it to get to the other side. So learn how to start looking at the glass half full. And I was always a person that I call myself very, very aware. So if I see some shit, I'll always say it's shit. But as I'm growing in my journey, I'm recognizing that two things could be right at the same time. I'm understanding that, yes, I can be looking at a pile of shit, but also I could appreciate that the glass is still half full. It might not be where it's at or where I want it to be, but it's still half full. So learn how to look at things, to shift your perspective, because life is precious. And although the clock never stops, use what is given in ways that when it runs out, you are okay. Learn how to be satisfied. Learn how to feel accomplished. Because too many of us are living wasted lives. You're better than that, and you deserve more than that. So get out the bed right now. Get out of the funk. Get out of La La Land or Dodo Town. Whatever it is that you might be or what you might be feeling, I'm telling you right now, get back in the game. Because it's not over. Because to be aware is to be alive. And as long as you got breath in your body, you have new opportunities to be who you want to be and live the life you want to live. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Remember to follow our YouTube channel, Thugging It Out Podcast, and follow us on Instagram at _thuggingitout_. Make sure you go check out the last Motherhoods panel. And this upcoming Saturday, we will have a Talk It Out series episode. This upcoming Saturday at 6 p.m. So make sure you get live and active in that chat. And just have a good day. Stay warm. Remember to be grateful. Be blessed. Be thankful. But most importantly, keep thugging it out. Peace.